Thank you for joining us. This is Live with Miami's Community News. And today we're going to be talking about the great people that work at the Animal Services for Miami-Dade County. Our guest is Bronwyn Stanford, who is the Director of Animal Services.
That's right.
You have quite the resume. And I'm going to share this so that people understand the care and consideration that the county goes through to make sure the people that are leading the departments here are qualified. So you came to the county following a long career in government and nonprofit administration and child and family welfare. Important.
That's
right?
correct.
We like that. We like those little kids that with four legs, including strategic planning, budget management, and policy development. Most recently, you served as a senior vice president of Children's Home Society, CHS.
That's correct.
And CHS has been around, how many years they've been serving?
Long time they've been serving for child welfare services for the government. They contract with the government to serve children.
And that's throughout Miami-Dade, Palm Beach, and this whole up this coast, or was it on the other
Yes,
coast?
I had the Tampa Bay areas, Pinellas, Sarasota, Naples, all the way down to West Palm, Broward, and Miami.
So I'm thinking with the mayor with her social work background and someone like you with that background, that's not an accident that we see the caring and feeling that's going on. And we've had the pleasure of talking with quite a few people from the departments, and there's a theme, there's no question. This is a different Miami-Dade County government than it was 20 years ago. Way different, way more caring. We have some more things right here. You're the founder and CEO of CJ Paws, which is Compassion, Justice, and Protection for Animals We Save. No kidding.
Yes, I founded that based on cats I was saving when I was working at DCF in downtown. I would drive through Overtown, and I started seeing all those cats, and I started saving them one at a time. And then I decided, I need to do this on a much bigger level. And so I started CJ Paws.
So there was an animal rescue service, and you were the one.
I founded it, and I put a board together. I did the logo. I did the name. I did all the legal work, and it's running today.
That's amazing. Prior to CHS, you were with the Department of Children and Family Services, a couple law firms, and with the state attorney's office in Pinellas County.
That's correct. That's correct.
Wow.
I was actually appointed to oversee all of DCF, all the Department of Children and Families, all of the services for Miami-Dade, all the way down to the Keys. Hardest job I've ever done, but most rewarding. And I feel that this is going to be much the same. Animal welfare, child welfare.
And you went to Western Michigan University, and you got your undergraduate and your master's.
That's
correct.
There. Yeah.
And then you went to Stetson for your law degree.
I did. Stetson on the other coast. Yeah.
Wow. Why did you take this job, this opportunity with Miami-Dade County?
Michael, I saw this job advertised, and I just thought, wow, this is going to put it all together. I love leadership. I love leading, large governmental agencies or entities, and I absolutely love doing a service for the community. Something where I'm using my leadership skills to make a difference. And then animals are near and dear to my heart. I loved serving children, and I absolutely love animals. So I'm just so excited to have this role. I can't tell you. I'm on top of the moon.
So we have a thing coming up, December 15th. We call it Charlie's Day. All right, Save Charlie Day. And that is the four-legged furry friend of one of the county commissioners. All right. And can we go to the YouTube on that? And as we're doing that, the county's made a commitment to have at least a 90% save rate, as compared to 20 years ago, it was probably just the opposite.
Absolutely. And we're really, really proud of all the animals we save. I mean, there's not a day that I go into the clinic and see the amazing miracles, cats and dogs that got hit by a car, and just the amazing miracles we do every day. I'm just really proud of that.
Okay, we're going to go to YouTube. I think I got the signal. Are we ready to rock there?
Thanks to Miami-Dade Animal Services' many life-saving programs and your continued support, the Pet Adoption and Protection Center is a no-kill shelter. This year, Miami-Dade County has declared December 15th as Save Charlie Day. This day shines a light on Miami-Dade Animal Services' life-saving mission. Let's focus on the need to protect and care for all animals in our county, and remember to make adoption your only option. Learn more at miamidade.gov/animals.
I want to adopt them for a little while. All right, I'm done. But when we watch these videos and watch the connection that there is between the people and those dogs and seeing what their waggy tails, it must affect you a lot when you walk in there and you see the dogs coming over to you and wanting to like say hi.
Absolutely. And we also hear so many stories of families who do adopt, and they share the stories of how it made such a difference in their lives. I mean, it's just some of the amazing stories we hear are just really moving.
So one of the things with the Save Charlie Day and the Save Charlie Act is for people to be able to focus on it. So could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. In 2020, the commissioners voted to pass this legislation. And Save Charlie just means that we're doing every effort that we can to make a difference for a dog or a cat. And we're really excited about it because we really appreciate that Commissioner McGee moved it forward, and we think it's great legislation. And we are doing everything. Like I said, every day I see these miracles that we do to make a difference for an animal and save an animal's life. I mean, if we can save the animal, we do everything in our clinic to do that.
So we know that during the pandemic that a lot of people wanted to have some comfort in their homes, and they were adopting dogs and cats and other critters like crazy. What's going on now?
Well, we're not at the same level that we were during the pandemic. We're not having the adoptions haven't increased like it had during that time. But we're not seeing those animals come back either. I mean, people are maintaining the animals that they adopted, so we're really happy about that. And we still have a lot of people coming in, but we can definitely have more people come in and adopt, and we encourage people to do that.
There are a lot of pet organizations, dogs and cats, that the county calls on, say, hey, we have a Doberman, or we have a little guy, or we have a German Shepherd, that people in the community that either foster them or that they'll find somebody to take them. So it's important that there are private groups connected to the county for this, right?
Yes, we have a lot of rescue partners who, they might have a specific breed that they rescue. So if you have a husky come in, they'll foster the husky for us or find a great home. So we have a lot of people helping us out in the community. And we actually have a new networking group where people that have social media platforms, we've encouraged them to help us share, great animals that we have in the shelter.
One of the things that I think as human beings, we always use these euphemisms, which is we're going to let them, we're going to put them to sleep. The reality is that right now, Miami-Dade has a 90% save rate. Tell us about that other 10%. People say, well, why isn't it all of them? So why don't you tell us about that?
Well, sometimes that's a really good question, actually, Michael, because I think that's a misconception in the community that if an animal comes in, if they're surrendered at animal services, that they'll be put to sleep or euthanized. And that's just not true. What we do, we make every effort to save every animal. But sometimes when an animal's suffering, just like if your animal has cancer or has been hit by a car, you might ask a vet that it's more humane to euthanize. So, that's pretty much what we have to do sometimes. And we're just like any other, vet or, person in the community.
The shift years ago, we used to be called animal control. What was it? Animal control and the dog catcher. And it was just, those were the words that we used. And
Right.
Words do matter.
They do. Yeah.
And we can see in the name of this particular facility is Animal
Pet Adoption and Protection
Center.
How good is that? All right. And that the little kids that are walking in there, they are getting a message loud and clear that animals matter to everyone.
Yes.
And that they're an integral part of families. And certainly with social media, you see them referring to the mom and dad. We used to call them the owner.
Right.
It's like, no, they're part of this whole process.
They're part of the family. Absolutely. And
Parents.
What?
Parents.
Oh,
yeah, parents.
Oh,
I
my
love that.
God.
I love that. I hadn't heard that. That's great. Yeah. Parents.
Folks, that's Florabile in the back there, or in the front.
And they are, and that's why we made the name change, because we're not the dog catcher. I mean, we are the Pet Protection Center and Adoption Center, and these are members of families, and the community views them like that.
So the pandemic, it's not quite over, but it looks like we're dealing with it a little bit better. And maybe next school year, right, when things are a lot calmer, but there's a lot of schools that are eagerly waiting to get somebody from animal services to come out and have this kind of conversation. Because when you can get those kids where they care, right, it's a lifetime of caring.
Yes.
And we know that when the schools 20 years ago at this point, there were some kids were getting whacked around by their parents. My little daughter comes home and she says, "Daddy, if you hit me, I'm going to call the police." And I go, "Good." I said, "Where did you learn that?" She said, "At school." I go, "Great."
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And we know when we talk to people about recycling and how long did it take before we started caring about the sea and sea change and the and the icebergs and the trash out on the streets, it took a while. So as the evolution is occurring pretty rapidly for animals services, certainly there's a point at which more people need to know about it faster and in big quantities so they can put that up there. Because when we know that people are letting their dogs loose, and that's not that's terrible, right? And I live in horse country, and Laura knows this story, but I love telling it. One day, there's this sort of beat up, very friendly partial pit bull, and he's sitting on front. He comes over, his tail's wagging. "Oh, come here, pup!" All right, and so of course, I feed him. I give him water.
Yeah.
I go away. I come back a couple hours later. He's still there, and he won't go anywhere. And I'm going, "Oh, is this the way it's supposed to be? Maybe this is going to be the guy that made his way into my heart." Okay, I'm going to ignore him. All right, see what happens. So I leave. He runs after me.
Oh no.
I'm putting ads everywhere. I'm calling everybody. No space. So I go, all right, let me walk down the street and see what he does. This is like 4 days later, right? I'm walking down the street. He's following me. And as soon as he gets to his house, he leaves and he goes back home. He was a neighbor's dog that came over to say hi.
Yeah, see, the important thing that you just said about that story is that he was owned. You know, if somebody picks up a dog like that and takes him to the shelter, the chances of them finding their actual home becomes like 7% or less. So we really encourage people to do exactly what you did, Michael. That was awesome, because that dog, you know, somebody else might have picked him up and took him to a shelter and said, "Oh, he's lost." Well, he really was close to home. So we really appreciate what you did there.
Well, you know, that, as I mentioned earlier, we used to have 8 dogs at one point.
Really?
And it was great. We had 2 Rottweilers, we had 2
Wow.
middle dogs, we had 2 Jack Russells, and the runt Jack Russell ran all of them, right?
Right.
And then had somebody in the back that had 2 Chihuahuas, right? And it was like, okay. And it was great because it was wonderful and we had a great experience with that. And I used to be in the animal business. We would import animals, so we understand how that matters. We constantly hear about people taking their dogs down to a homestead into the wooded area and letting their dogs out. It is such a morally corrupt thing to do, for goodness sakes, right? There's certainly something else that somebody could do. So if somebody has a dog, their own dog, they don't know what to do, and who should they call, and what direction would they be given?
Well, they should always call 311. And, you know, we have people on hand that will absolutely help them. You know, we'll help them with supplies, a crate, if they wanted to foster that dog. And it's, like I said, it's best to keep the dog in the neighborhood. If somebody wants to surrender, they can call 311 and we'll give them all kinds of help on how to rehome that dog and how we can help as well.
And I think when we take responsibility for that we feel better as a human being that we didn't take this thing and let it loose. Not too long ago, it was a few years ago, out in front of the house, there was this little baby squirrel about this big. I said, did I have to see this? Why couldn't I have gone the other way? So I took my shoe off and I scooped him in there.
Aww.
I spent the whole day finding a place. And then the final thing was, I'm glad you're dropping it off, sir. You need to give us some money to pay to keep it alive. And no problem. So I cleared my conscience about the right thing to do.
Yeah,
because, so these guys are relying on us to do that.
They did. I've done that too with squirrels.
So let's talk about when somebody says, I want a dog, they can go online at the county at miamidade.gov/whatever. I'm looking to adopt a dog. You're going to find it.
Animals.miamidade.gov.
Right. And they can look at the dogs that happen to be posted
Yes.
that are there.
And cats.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, the other furry friends. And then they can also go up to the facility and take a look at the different animals. Let's talk about the kind of shots and licenses they're going to get and more or less the pricing for that.
Yeah, they're going to be completely vetted, honestly. And if they adopt an animal from us, they're going to be completely vetted. Something that might cost, $500. And our pet fees include all of that. For cats, it's $35. Cats and kittens. Puppies are $85 and dogs are $65, and it includes the vaccines, the microchipping, the spay and neuter. So we really encourage people to come by the shelter. There are amazing dogs that are so friendly. They don't have the issues that a lot of purebreds do, health issues. It's just a great thing, and you're really saving a life and helping an animal out.
So, Bronwyn, we know that people like puppies, but there is something about a teenage or one that's a little bit older. Now that I have grandchildren, you see that whole phase in there where the dogs are a little bit quieter, right? They're a little bit friendlier. They're not jumping all over. So tell us about getting a middle age or younger rather than a 8 or 10 or 12-week-old.
Right. They're usually, people do want puppies, but I'll tell you, it's a lot of work. And I don't want to discourage people because puppies are wonderful. We all love puppies. We all love kittens. But getting an older dog or cat makes such a difference. You don't have to do all the, teaching them to walk on the leash, teaching them to go outside to go to the bathroom. I mean, it's so much easier to take a teenage dog or an older dog or cat that's already, has all that down, or uses a litter box,
So there's a lot of green space around us. And so when we have cats that visit us, so we sort of adopt. And as soon as you start feeding them, they're yours.
Yes,
we used to have, what do they call the groups of cats?
Community cats.
Colony. Okay.
Community.
So at Wild Way had colonies, and we would watch what they would do. The one that's not in the colony would sit over there and try to make its way. Well, we're really good. The one cat that we feed on purpose, right, keeps all the way. The other cats know not to come around when we're there, but I know they're eating the food. So there is this pleasure, and they're all fixed, all right?
Good. That's important.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
And it's important to do that.
Yes, to let us know if there's a community of cats where they aren't the ear tip.
So when there are wild cats, they were at some point. Some of those were just let loose, or maybe they're just outside cats. And this one, we know that he was somebody's pet because he wants to come in all the time. And he sits at the front door. It's a glass door. And he sits at the door and he looks through the windows when he's hungry. If he hears us, that means I'm hungry. All right. So if you see a cat that's hanging around and needs to be fixed, right? What should they do other than to just ignore it?
Well, we really would appreciate your help to give us a call and let us know there's cats that aren't tipped, because that means they can procreate, and that means more and more kittens. I mean, an adult, actually, cats start procreating sometimes at 4 to 6 months. They're that young, and they can get pregnant, and they can have like up to 10 kittens, and then those kittens at 4 months. So it becomes, more and more cats are at risk. So we really encourage people to call us. We can send trappers out. We will humanely spay and neuter them, and then take them back to that exact location. And that's the best thing that we can do for those cats.
And
they can bring them down themselves too.
They can also bring them down themselves. Yeah, that's correct. Thanks, Flora.
Yeah. So when we look at the cats, you can tell because the ears are clipped. It's a sort of a straight clip off of there, and they're able to see that. And if somebody comes across I guess you call it a nest. Is it a nest? What do we call it? Of kittens?
Litter.
Yeah.
Litter. They're in the bushes,
kittens,
right? We have a lot of trees and stuff. We usually find snakes and iguanas, but we never found the kittens. But if they find kittens, what should they do? And if you're not sure, we can ask them.
Well, don't kidnap. Yeah, no kidnapping, because a lot of times, when a lot of good Samaritans think they're doing the right thing by bringing the tiny little kittens who still need their mother into us, and they're really the mother does a much better job raising those kittens. I mean, we do the best we can, but it's never the same as getting their own mother's milk, and it gives them all kinds of it makes them much more healthy. And it's bringing kittens in. We don't always have the foster parents. We have a lot of great foster parents out there, but we get 10 more kittens in. We have to have them, bottle fed every 2 hours around the clock. So it's best to leave them with their mother. And then when the mother and the kittens are a little bit older, then give us a call and we can come in and spay and neuter them.
So people can foster kittens?
Oh, yes.
Cats, puppies? Big puppies, little puppies, older ones, and the county offers some supplies to facilitate that.
Yes, we absolutely. Fostering animals for us is such a huge help. A lot of our staff members take home kittens to foster, but we just don't have enough. So, so the people in the community who really help us, I really appreciate that. We so appreciate it. And it's mostly neonatal kittens, and we'll train you how to do it properly. And we would really appreciate that when we do have kittens. But we encourage people that find kittens to leave them with their mother until they're old enough, and then give us a call. And it's not that many weeks until they're old enough to come in and they're not dependent on their mother's milk.
If somebody if they didn't want to donate monies per se, but they wanted to make a donation, they could go. Correct me if I'm wrong. They could go to the website or and there's places you can do that. Can they buy supplies if they go to the Animal Services website?
Yeah, yes, they absolutely can, and we encourage that. And actually, we're really doing a push to send some of our dogs that have behavioral modification issues to boarded training. So any donations can really help us do that and help these dogs out. But also, we have a program right now, Home for the Holidays. And if somebody would like to give an animal a break from the shelter, sometimes we have really long stayers. And if they would bring them home and celebrate the holidays with that animal, that would be great for them. Any kind of release from the shelter would be really helpful. Even if it's just, a week or a few days, or if they want to come in and walk dogs, that really helps. There's so many ways that you can volunteer and help our amazing animals out. And
how many staffers are there in this department?
Is it, Flora? I think 280, is it?
Yes, it's over 200, from kennel to adoption counselors to the administration that manages. So it's a lot of people that take care of more than approximately 30,000. I think we're on track for
30,000 a year. And at any time we have 500. Right now we have about 500 animals in the shelter. And so it takes a lot of care. And these animals do get really good care. They get really great medical care and really great care. And we have volunteers. I want to really thank our volunteers. We have so many great volunteers, and we could use more, getting these dogs out of their kennels as many times a day as possible. So
right now there are about 500 dogs and cats that are ready to be adopted. They have their shots, or we'll get them. They'll be sterilized, right?
All vetted, all vetted.
All vetted. They're ready to go.
Yep.
So we're going to wrap up in just a couple minutes.
Okay.
So let's talk about Save Charlie's Day again. So what events are going to happen because of this?
Well, we have a Save Charlie Day at the shelter, and that is December 15th, coming up next week. And we really encourage people to come in and share that day with us. We really want to celebrate that legislation. And boy, would it be great if someone saved another Charlie. We have lots of Charlies, wonderful Charlies that are just dying to get adopted and get into a nice home for the holidays. And so we would absolutely love that. And I'm going to share a video right now with all of you. An image, I'm sorry, an image.
So this is our holiday, and
Presents
it's going to extend past the holiday.
Right.
Because
So the 31st, right, of January. Yep, through January.
And they need blankets and treats.
And I challenged my good friend David. I'm not going to give your last name, David. Make a donation over there between $250 and $500, and I'll match you if you do it, David. Otherwise, you're by yourself come next month. Right. So people, if they have my pleasure. If they have clean blankets, clean material, they can donate. Can they drop it off there?
Yes, and we'll also have bins in our libraries throughout the county, and also any kind of toys would be great. To keep our amazing animals entertained. So especially Kong toys, which are best for our shelter dogs, and any kind of cat toy. So I
understand they have about 49 libraries throughout Miami-Dade County.
Yes, so there's select libraries. You can look on our website for the exact locations or call 311. and also at the government center.
Yes.
They have a bin, and we will have a bin at Animal Services.
Yes.
So we want to know when you guys are going to bring a small, medium, large dog to the show. All right. She's smiling over there. We really need to do that. The ladies here love it. All right. And we're really looking for it maybe in early January, first week or so. And by the way, your team
I'll bring
does.
some next week.
Okay.
You
Yes.
know,
yes.
Michael, I would love to do that. I mean, or have one of our amazing staff people do that, because it really, and maybe we could get all those dogs adopted that day, which would be wonderful. We also want to encourage like corporations maybe to sponsor a dog and put like some of our dogs out to all of their employees, and have it be, a corporation dog, and maybe one of their employees would adopt that dog.
So I was downtown at Museum Park. I think that's what it's called. Condos on the west side, and everybody's here with their dogs walking around. It's just extraordinary. All right, the amount of pets and how people are growing their families with these. And we have people that come here, their dogs are with them all the time. Right? They just get in the car, they go in the back, and there's food and water for them. Really extraordinary.
Restaurants, look at what restaurants are doing now.
Yes.
I mean, everybody brings their animals to restaurants anymore. So yeah, Miami-Dade loves animals. They really do.
And I hope that people that are letting their dogs and cats loose, that they take into account what they've done, all right, to leave these animals to fend for themselves. And I wanted to share with you a friend of mine, 87 years old, who lives on the levee down in Homestead, has a cane, 2-story house. She calls me and she says, "They're not going to kill my dogs, are they?" I said, "No." She says, "Michael, I saw Miss Beal on the show. They said they're going to save all these dogs." She says, "That's why I called them." And when first the police went out because she was old, then Animal Services went out, and she repeated the story. And she said to me, "Michael, these 2 dogs went upstairs and sat outside a 2-story house, the glass windows." She says, "I sprayed them. They wouldn't leave." I said, "They chose." When the animals come to you, it's sort of like our message: you need to do something and to try to help that critter. And if they're in the neighborhood, you never know when they're going to go back home, or maybe they're completely lost. There was one guy years ago, a little beagle out in Basset Hound, out in horse country. I go up to the dog, I get his thing. I call, "Oh, that's so-and-so's. He lives right down the street over there on 47th Street. And again, when folks let their animals loose, get hit by car, eat the wrong thing, get sick, all right?
Yeah, or end up at the shelter and their owner might not come to the shelter looking for their animal, and the animal the dog or cat might be really close, within a mile of their home or a few blocks, and the chances of them finding their home are so great if they stay in their neighborhood. So we really encourage people not to spray them, to really help the animal maybe find their home.
And people
in the area
can get their dogs chipped, and they can update that whenever they need to.
Yes.
I'm sure that saves a lot of lives. All right.
Encourage that,
and not just the animals' lives, but the family unit sticking together. All right. Yes, and pets are priceless. Let's talk about that. You ready to talk about the priceless? We're going to look at our notes here for a second.
Go right ahead.
Yeah.
All right.
Something on the
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, we are waiving adoption fees until December 31st to celebrate the holidays and our pets, and really encourage the community to come in and adopt an amazing animal for the holidays. And
so no charge. They can go down there. All right. It's going to be the pet's going to be fully taken care of. Right.
Yep.
It's going to have a
fully
chip.
vetted. Yep.
Chip.
Fully vetted.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Vaccine, spay and neuter. With a dog, they will still have to pay for the registration fee,
$30.
and it's $30, right? So
good.
Yeah.
We take care of the pets. They take care of us. All right. And when I see these dogs with their tails wagging back and forth, I know 1 week moment I might wind up with another one, but for right now, my answer is no.
We want to
He knows who to call.
Yeah.
we want to get you back up to 8.
So, I'm sure there's going to be some coming up. So
Good.
we are very lucky to have you.
Thank
and
you.
the animals are very lucky as well.
Thank you so much, Michael. It's been
Right.
great being here, and thank you for this opportunity to really encourage people to come in and find a new family member that will just make such a difference for you.
So you had options. Obviously, you could have stopped working, I suppose, if you wanted to, but you made a choice to continue in this line of work. If there is some 16, 17, 18-year-old young girl or young boy that's wondering about their future, I'd like you to talk to them, all right, about the upcoming years and what some of the good things they have to look forward to. And Andres, we're looking right at this camera, and they're all right. You're on.
Well, I would encourage them to absolutely stay in school, go to postgraduate school, get as much education as possible. I went to law school a little bit later in life. It was a second career, and it was the best thing I ever did in my life, really. And I've learned so much. And even though I'm not practicing as a lawyer in this position, the skills were just priceless. I mean, I use them every day as a lawyer. So I really encourage people to stay in school and have goals and go after them. Believe anything's possible, because it is. Anything I've seen, I've worked in child welfare, and I've seen children. And I just, staying in school is the best thing to do, and having goals and believing that you can do anything, because you can. This is what I wanted. I couldn't be in a better place in my life. This is what I wanted to do. It's a dream for me. And I love it. I absolutely love every day. I've been here 4 weeks now, and every day has been amazing.
Well, I hope you're here many, 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 many years.
I plan on it.
Okay.
I plan on
Again,
it. Thank
our
you,
guest
Michael.
Today is Bronwyn Stanford, who's the Animal Service Director of Miami-Dade County. And so we love that you guys are taking care of our furry friends. Thanks for being here, folks.
Thank you.
Laura,
Thank you, Michael.
My pleasure. And folks, thanks for joining us live with Miami's Community News. Have a great day. And Andres, thank you very much. And for our director in the back, Flora Beal, wonderful job today.